We're looking at the Law Unit 1, Paper 1, 2012. Alright, so remember if there are any issues, drop the issues in the chat. Number 1, which of the following best defines the term law in context of a civil state? So it must be enforced by the rules that govern society. The landmark case of Donahue versus Stevenson, alright, establishes a neighbor principle. This operates off of Donahue versus Stevenson. Yeah, there was negligence, right? So something would have fallen into the beer bottle, right? I was negligent of the company to allow that to happen. Which of the following statements best describes law in Commonwealth Caribbean today? So let me see. It has not. It retains vestiges of laws of indigenous African enslaved. No, not really. In some countries, influence of the French alongside, maybe seen alongside. It has not changed drastically. I'm not sure what answer was that. The supreme source of law in the Commonwealth Constitution is in the Commonwealth Caribbean is the Constitution. Why did it go up so far? Not sure why. Alright, let's have a look at this. Number 5, which of the following statements is applicable to positive law? Right, so it must be rational foundation. No. Associated, no. A. Right, so I have to go over all of these things now. Right, so the function of a defense attorney is to declare his belief in seek justice for his client, set up a case based on evidence, report any inconsistencies, declare his belief in the innocent. Isn't it? It's your justice. Is to seek justice for the client? You're defending them to seek justice. Declare his belief in the innocence of the client. No. 7. Which of the following classifications of law prescribes that an employer is liable for the torts committed by his employee during the course of his employment? Right? This would be a private one. An advantage of alternative dispute resolutions: cost effectiveness. So starting at 2011, going down the paper. So anything repeat would have been from 2011, so forth. Right? Let's look at this now. Any person who parks a motor vehicle, this would be positive law, because there's no moral or religious bounding. Alright, so Speedy is driving along Sunset Boulevard when within speed limit when he was stopped by 2 policemen. They forced him out of his vehicle, throwing him down to for real. Interesting. Causing him to hit his head. One of the policemen then drove off with PSR. Speedy wishes to bring an action against officers on the which of the following areas of law should he proceed? Why would this be constitutional? I think this would be somewhat criminal, right? But it could be under the Constitution as well, because we have a right to be defended, right? A right from harm, and the policemen do this. So I understand why would this be constitutional, because of the policemen, but because I see that this can be constitutional and administrative at the same time, I believe that it's more criminal, right? So it could be argued constitutionally though. So I want to hear your opinions on that. The judge in sentencing the defendant said to him, "Be careful." This is speaking about the words. This is obiter dictum. I know. I taught this. Alright. 12. Mr. Legal, we're looking at this now. Discharged from the jury, arrested by the police, criminally charged for preventing. Yes, we looked at all of these. That would be the answer. Give me one moment there. Which of the following is not a feature of mediation? Decision may be enforced in court. That's true. Settlement reaching discussions between disputants. Are there no costs associated with there are no costs associated with mediation. No cost at all. I would believe that it's 1 and 2. I don't know where that answer came from. Alright. So when the names of jurors are called for them to be empaneled, Mr. Sharp, the attorney notices that among the men are Mr. Brown, a justice of the peace and a retired police officer. Mrs. Henderson, a well-known talk show host who is also the sister of the Chief Justice. Mr. Cyrus is a convicted felon who has served 5 years sentence, and Miss Pearson, a dressmaker and a community worker. Mr. Sharp, the attorney for the accused, cannot successfully challenge the inclusion of Miss Parson, I guess. Alright. Rob retains the services of the attorney subs to represent him in a case of simple larceny of property belonging to Ziggy. Rob overhears Ziggy and Subs discussing in the hallway. Rob dismisses Subs and informs him that he will sue him. Subs replies, go ahead, it will only be thrown out. What action can Rob take against him? He would have to report him to the disciplinary committee. Right? The important provisions of the Constitution are protected and from being easily altered by the use of entrenchment. Alright, so looking at this now, in which of the following constitutional is constitutional supremacy not reflected? Certain constitutional provisions are entrenched. It is reflected. Inherent supervisory functions are possessed by the High Court. That's true. Salaries and original jurisdiction is given to the Supreme Court in all constitutional matters. Nope. In which of the following conditions is necessary for the indispensable protection of the right of fair hearing? Which of is necessary for the indispensable protection of the right of fair hearing? Presumption of innocence, I believe. Right. I think it could be an independent judiciary as well. Judiciary condition necessary for the indispensable protection of the right of a fair hearing. So I think it'd be the presumption of innocence, because if it's not presumed innocence, there's no fair hearing, no matter who is looking at it. The main feature of the Commonwealth Caribbean public law that differentiates it from the United Kingdom's law is right, which the judicature or the judiciary is considered to be the independent when there is separation of powers. 21. Which of the following are requirements for the operation of the rule of law in any constitutional state? Right, there must be 1 and 3. Alright, which of the following philosophers is known for the pronouncement no more is above the law? Dicey. Which of the following persons is not subject to judicial review? Alright, I think it would be this. Alright. Is not subject to judicial review, no? I'm going to have to review this entire thing. You know, what do you think is the best answer? Right. At a recent community meeting, one of the members of the public proposes to the Prime Minister that the Constitution be amended to conform with the Constitution of the Commonwealth Caribbean Territory Parliament by bicameral in nature. Alright, so I really think that in this case it would be bicameral in nature. Alright. Brenda is staging a peaceful protest, right? So I think that this question is really speaking about whether or not, right, we'll see different rights, right? So they disperse the crowd, right? Take away the pickets telling them to and disperse the crowd, right? So the fundamental rights are infringed upon is freedom of assembly, right? Freedom of liberty, right? And freedom of expression. I believe so. Alright, the Prime Minister of a Commonwealth Caribbean country has been charged with this repeated. We have that there. Mr. Justy, a Court of Appeal judge, has decided to run for political office. His friend also is a judge and advised him that he cannot be a judge and a political figure. Therefore, that is talking about separation of powers. Buster, a prisoner on death row for over 10 years, has been awaiting the hearing. Alright, I think this case speaks about Pratt v. Morgan. Well, Pratt and Morgan versus Attorney General of Jamaica. Alright, we have a case like that. Mr. Acorn, we're looking at. Thinking D would be the best answer here, legitimate expectations. Alright, 30, which of the following procedures? Remedies would be available to Mr. Acorn. I think it would be specific reform. If it is habeas corpus, please type it in. Please tell us why in the comment section. The buffer principle most related to causation. Right, which of the following is not true of the defense of diminished responsibility? Right, it is complete defense. That's not true. Alright, which of the following is not an element of the crime of murder? The victim doesn't have to be a human being. Huh? Alright, this must have competent, beginning must be on law. Wonderful, so C would be the best answer. For which of the following crimes is malice of a thought essential? Murder. Which of the following events, elements are fundamentally inchoate crimes? Aid and abetting, counsels and procures. D. For which of the following offences below does recklessness suffice as mens rea? Would have involuntary manslaughter. Recklessness does suffice there for involuntary manslaughter, and sometimes in constructive, right, but mostly involuntary. The aim of the theory of sentencing is to seek to discourage the particular offender from committing another crime. This is particularly the offender, so individual deterrence. Between which of the following persons would sexual intercourse not be considered incest? Half brother and a half sister. Mary stabbed John, murder. Right, I'm seeing that these things are repeating again for module 3. Party pleading insanity must prove this and that. 1 and 3rd. No, I just saw that. Disease of the mind. It should be disease of the mind, but we'll have to go with the best answer. Alright. Sandra points a gun at her longtime enemy Amanda. The gun is not loaded. She's liable for attempted murder. ABBA Manufacturing Company manufactured a device called Platinum that is advertised for sale. It was an illegal device. This is conspiracy, right? Alphacell versus Alphacell Limited. Remember that case. Alright, 44. The omission to act for purposes. So omission to act would have been 1 and 2 only. Right? One night, Bim and Bam use a ladder to enter the uncle's house. Right? At night. Right? One night. This is burglary. Right? So they went and robbed the house at night. So it's burglary. That's the end of that paper. 2012's Law, Unit 1, Paper 1.